Two or three important characteristics of an effective science teacher. To me, you've got to engage your students. Science is just naturally a hands-on content area. And if the kids have something to touch, to feel, the experience is going to be more memorable. For effective and engaging students to participate in lessons, especially in science, when it comes to book work, some of the things I do that help the kids stay with us is when we read aloud. The text is good and has a lot of great information from it, but sometimes can sound dry to a 6th grade kid. So we read and we leave openings for kids to fill in, to finish the sentence, or to say they're in charge of any bold words. I don't read the bold words. I pause, they fill it in. Just gets them a chance to follow along. They get to say those important words, so maybe even more likely that they'll actually remember them. Other times, I'll have students be the teachers, and if there's visuals up on the smartboard, and I'll have them, as I'm explaining it from the back of the room, they're using the finger pointer and walking us through the steps. For example, the rock cycle. And we'll say, okay, we're at igneous, and okay, we melt heat and pressure, and that's backwards. And we become metamorphic. Is that possible? That is possible. And so having them be the teachers and having them relay some of the events we just had, that reiteration. Again, the small rewards, I do chance tickets in my room, just a little ticket to win a prize on a Friday. But if kids can reiterate what we just said, oh, who remembers that word? And when I play like I don't know the answers, and they're always eager to fill it in, because I'm playing dumb, and they're filling it in, and they're being smarter than the teacher, and they're teaching each other, making them have ownership and be excited about it, and thinking that they know even more, they remember better than their teacher does. So effective in trying to engage them, trying to get them to participate. Sometimes they'll work as a team, and we'll give points to table groups. They'll have a question and they'll have to come up with the answer, and then rewarding table groups for having the correct answers, because when they get to collaborate, they want to do well. They tend to be competitive, so giving them that competitive edge sometimes when you have questions as well. Establishing and maintaining classroom management. Rules and routines in my classroom. I stick with 4 basic rules that are easy to understand at any age level anyone comes into my room. Number 1, to be respectful. We talk about what that means and who that be respectful to each other and to staff. Keeping hands to ourselves, which includes people, materials, things. Having self-control, and that's a good discussion about what is self-control. Having that knowing I can, but deciding I won't. And then obviously doing your work. So I keep it kind of simple. With group management, when I use groups for experiments, for kids working on a project together, working on even just a worksheet together, they try to give them roles. We have like a manager who's in charge of keeping the group on task and on time. We have a getter, so if there's any materials that need to be gotten for an experiment, for whatever the case, maybe some highlighters or markers for drawing out a diagram, the getter's responsible for that, so there's not 20 kids out of their seats. A writer is responsible for the writing, documenting the ideas, and then of course a reader who is in charge of the reading and making sure the group understands it. But having them gives everybody a role, and they all get to be leaders in their own way. And of course, every lesson, whether it's science or not, that positive reinforcement, reinforcing those good behaviors for kids. If it's something as simple as just a little reward ticket, they can turn in for a prize at the end of the week, a small candy, words of praise, just kind of keeping them on track and moving around. I mean, once you assign work, it's very imperative that a teacher is checking in on each group, not just going back to their desk and grading some papers. That's not going to keep your kids doing what they need to be doing, especially in a 6th grade setting. The best part of teaching 6th grade science, I believe, is 6th grade is earth science. We call it our changing earth. And what's cool, being in Southern California, is so many of these science principles are right in our backyards. And we talk about earthquakes, we talk about weathering and erosion. We have the foothills, the San Gabriel Mountains, right north of us. And the kids go walking and hiking up there, and they see these things. They see the weathering, they see the erosion, they see the results of these earth changes right in front of us. And that makes it exciting to teach. The kids can find some of these ideas right here, and they bring them in and they share them with the rest of us, and that really makes 6th grade science exciting.